option on the cannabisclub.tv thing once we put it in digital form.
It says meeting is now streaming live on YouTube. Ta-da!
Hey,
there you go.
Live.
Thank you, Martell. Way to go.
I had a feeling YouTube
on YouTube. On YouTube. The one you did on
YouTube. And let people know it's because we crashed the server on Facebook. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That.
We did bring the global cannabis movement together, didn't we?
That's right. Thumbs up, baby.
That was the intention, to bring them together in love.
Yeah.
You felt the love?
Got the love. Got the love. Yeah.
What's
Apparently all day and all night with you guys. 30 hours around the world.
Your YouTube wall. Time for him?
Amazing. Yeah. Time for tube. That's wonderful. I got to go down to the club and close out here pretty soon.
Okay, well, we're down to our... Well, you got to hang out for this next 420.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because it's 8 to 17 here, so it's 4:17 in Samoa. Well, and then we get to smoke there. Wait. I got to get my... I'm going to go back to
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
I have a website called timeforhemp.com.
I can't see it here. Time for him. What's he got it on?
Say hi.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to give you a countdown.
Okay.
All right. This is America Samoa. It's still the 20th there.
Yep. And in the future, when we do other broadcasts, we're going to even be more highfalutin, rootin' tootin', and have more protection behind us.
Oh, yeah, man. There'll be lots of rootin' and tootin' in the future. We'll make this right as a rootin' tootin'.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
This is fun.
I'm starting.
Just because
people aren't dying.
Mary Lynn pointed out that this is historic because last year people weren't locked down. 1 minute.
1 minute.
Next year people should not be locked down. And here we got all these wonderful people who've so ingrained in the movement on one big long recorded broadcast globally on 420. And I just went scratching my head, but you're right. This is historic.
It's historic.
So I'm proud to be part of that. And I want to point it out occasionally because I'm proud to be part of that.
I'm very proud that you've worked so hard for so many years and kept us all in touch. And then we can start bringing the truth out to the world. Like I've been talking about this earlier, but it's a wonderful privilege, and I love you. You're my brother, and I'm so proud.
Together in some ways.
15 seconds.
15 seconds.
Much love, Samoa, American Samoa, out there in the Pacific.
5,
with
4,
some of the best weed on
3, 2, 1. Happy 420.
420.
America.
It's an honor to smoke out with you, Lynnette, and Paul, and Dakta, and Gary, and Mike, and Martell. Thank you.
Fabulous.
Samoa.
You can't lock down the spirit. You can lock us down in our houses, but you can't lock down the spirit. We find a way to get together and share love all around the world. To the audience,
I love you.
We love you.
I love you. I love you.
Well, the older you get, the more you realize that the Beatles were right. Well, I guess maybe Jesus was right. Oh, well, maybe the first God was right, or whoever it was who said love is all you need. But whoever said that the first time, that bitch was right. Okay.
We'll go with the Beatles.
Love is all you need.
It is.
Yeah, you had me at the Beatles.
Yeah.
Somebody call Ringo.
Where is it streaming again from, please?
On YouTube.
Martell?
On what?
Let me see if I can find the
where
link.
it's streaming at.
Huh?
Where's the stream? Hey?
We're streaming on Facebook, or we're streaming on YouTube.
Yeah.
Where?
Where?
On
He's trying to
YouTube.
find it.
Go to your channel.
I have. I've gone to the
Hello,
channel.
I'm the host of Time for Hemp. My name, Casper Leitch. And I have a website called timeforhemp.com. I would ask
Yeah.
you to check out.
It's supposed to be on the
Where's the live
time, number 4 hemp.com. I put Dexter in the picture with me for a minute, second.
I'm looking at you saying you can't find it on YouTube right now.
Yeah. Dexter, come here.
Dexter, come here. Sit down next to me.
Give me the thing then. Give me the link. That's all I want.
Old people.
Don't be rude about old people.
Hey, I'm one of them. I can't.
Paul's lucky. Paul's got a
I
set
had it
of
up there.
talented people around him that make his show work fabulous, don't you, Paul?
If it's not on YouTube, then I can't see it. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
You ought to give a shout out. You ought to give a shout out to your team while you got a chance, because I love them, and I know how much they and how hard they worked on that show and how much fun everybody has.
Yeah. No, I just need the link. That's all I need.
It's in the
You
chat.
want a shout out for my show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, you can watch it live at facebook.com/restorehemp, or you can see 700 shows, all of Casper's shows, at youtube.com/cannabis common sense. That'll take you to it. Just type it all in lowercase. youtube.com/cannabis common sense. We've got everybody from Todd McArea and all the partnering on with Michael Krawitz here last year to Jack Hare and Keith Strop and anyone else you can probably think of. So yeah, there you have it. There's the plug.
Have you had a chance to figure out how to make your show easy to work on the internet? Because now that you're all dealing with is being locked down, you probably got that figured out pretty good too, so people can find you and tune in and watch the show each week. Where?
Facebook.com/restorehemp. We stream it live there. We got about 660,000 likes or whatever you want to call them on there. So that's our largest market, our largest Facebook social media site.
Well, yeah, this is the chance to give a plug for your show because, like I said, it's done great, and you got a lot of history in your archives. The people you've had on your show.
It's
Oh
true.
my gosh!
When you've done over 1,000 hours of television, it's we're always getting new guests on there all the time. The industry is, what started as a movement is now an industry and a worldwide culture.
Yes, it is.
There's a worldwide culture before, and a black market industry, but it's slowly coming out of the shadows.
Yeah, that was what my fight for 19 years with the feds was all about. I was the test case to stop the licensed cannabis industry. And I fought for 19 years and I won in 2016. And there's a federal judge's order restraining the DEA and the DOJ from coming after licensed dispensaries. And so that made everybody safe. And that was the first step forward for our revolution, Took a long time. And I'm very tired of being chased by agents, so I'm glad they can't come anymore by law.
That must have just unnerved you or something to have people follow you because you just kind of harp on that and harp on it.
Yeah, well, this is the extremes they went to try to stop us, but they couldn't get past me. So it was a bunch of paper soldiers and paper arguments, and we have the real stuff. We got the truth. Hallelujah.
Well, yeah, that is true, and Jack stood on that, and it blew people's mind because of all his historic research for his book.
Yeah.
Anytime they just try to jump in and say how wrong he was or how silly he was thinking, he go, "Oh yeah, well I got this stat, I got this fact, I got this book, I got this."
He was,
And at
yes,
the
he
end of the
did.
conversation, they're like, "Wow, okay,
Wow.
you're right. The sun is up at noon. You're right.
Yeah.
You know, there is a shadow when the sun's out. Yeah, you're right."
Jack was definitely an interesting mentor to have. I was mentored by Dennis Perone and Jack Hare, and also I was their girl Friday. They had me running my ass up and down California and working, what had to be done.
I was sharing earlier one of the things about Jack Hare that just griped my ass, just annoyed the out of me. Was while you're having dinner or while you're eating, Jack is in the room. He sees something on your plate. He just walk over and just put his fingers and hands, just grab it off your plate, put it in his, like nothing. I mean, he didn't think nothing about it. It was like, well, does everybody do that? You just put your hands in my mashed potatoes. Yeah, man.
Thanks for the meatball. Spaghetti.
Right?
Yeah.
Stop me when I'm lying.
Your lips to God's ear. He was so funny. What a crack up that guy was. What a unique personality. That's how I met you.
Yeah.
I called Jack's office. I met Jack, read his book in 3 days. My mind was blown. And I called the office, and there you were. Yeah.
Well, Jack's office was in Jack's house.
I know.
And and Jack at the time was dating a woman named Brenda.
Yes.
Who was a little loud on a lot of levels for a lot of reasons at a lot of different times during the day.
You think?
And I mean loud. You know what I mean? Mean.
Uh-oh. Oh,
so that was kind of hard to do business, when you had that going on too. And then Jack would come down in his boxer shorts trying to get high and looking for him something to eat, and would trip over the telephone while you're on it talking to somebody.
Yeah, well, he was on his own world, What a man. I was honored to work with him, as I am honored to work with you and continue to work with you. There we are. Hi. Sorry, I had a little minor that was on my end, not on your end. But it was a life-changing experience. I've met Jack, met you, and then Jack sent me to meet Dennis. And we did the Hall of Flowers. I was doing video production at the time, and we filmed Willie Nelson, that very beloved section that we put up on the CannabisClub.tv, where you're interviewing Willie Nelson in 1991. I was floor directing that segment. I was because I got that award for being a video public television video techno person. And we were working together, and that was our first string of stuff. And that string is what's been up on Cannabis Club TV. So they finally took it down. After 6 months, they take it down. Yeah, you got to change it every 6 months, otherwise they're just going to take it down. I can't blame. But the beloved interview with Willie Nelson in old. I mean, I wish we could restore this to HD, but it's even though it's the worst, oldest video quality and standard. Everybody stops cold and watches that interview whenever it would come up. It was so popular, it would come up about every 3 hours, and they rebroadcast it every 3 hours, and mostly just that segment with Willie Nelson, And when it came up in the club, everybody would stop and turn up the volume, listen to that segment, turn it down, go back to business. But that segment is absolutely beloved across the nation.
Well, thank you for letting me know that. Thank you for letting me know that.
I was a part of it behind the cameras, man. It was wonderful. That was astonishing. That was some good stuff, man.
Well, I know.
Okay,
Paul,
I gotta go.
I don't know if you've had a chance to share some of your obscure stories about Jack Hare.
Not yet. I got a book I gotta write here. And
I first met Jack through the magazine Overthrow. I had gone down to Los Angeles. It was a break at Evergreen State College in 1982. I finished my summer session like in early July, and I didn't have to go back to school till late September. So I've always been, in almost every sense of the word, quite trivial, you know. So I wanted to go to LA and get on trivia game shows because I could always answer, and still can, you know, the vast majority of those trivia questions. And so I went down there, and the first 3 days I stayed in a hotel, and then I rented a KOA campground in Burbank. And then I thought, I'm going to look in the back of this Overthrow magazine. I'm listed in there, and it said Reefer Raiders in Los Angeles. So I looked up the Reefer Raiders, and I met Captain Ed Adair. Everybody called him Captain, but he owned a head shop on Van Nuys Boulevard called Heads and Eyes. And he said, come stay here in my black light room in the back of Heads and Eyes. So I did that for about the last 3 weeks I was there and worked for Tom Hayden, registering voters to make some extra money. It was his first successful political campaign. But just as I was leaving to go back up to Evergreen, Ed says, you got to meet my partner, Jack. And I went over to Jack's store, High Country, which was just off Van Nuys Boulevard. And I met Jack. He took me out to dinner at I think it was a Sambo's restaurant, you know, one of those breakfast restaurants. They went bankrupt, I think, because of its name. But anyway, so I met him and I went up to Oregon and I went back to Washington. I was Washington State Normal Coordinator at the time, as designated by Kevin Zeese, who was the national director in Normal then. But I understood, you know, when I met Jack, we talked about this Oregon initiative that had almost qualified. It was in, you know, September of 1982. And then in 1984, I moved to Oregon, and Jack moved to Oregon as well. And we both worked to put the second vote for legal marijuana on the ballot. We lost overwhelmingly. The federal government cracked down on us. That's another whole story. But in terms of Jack, I always described him, my word, while he was alive, to his face and everywhere else, was bombastic, because he personified the word bombastic, because he was, you know, very a force of nature, not unstoppable, you know. And but
he was the most astonishing public speaker that I have ever experienced, and I was absolutely transfixed and transformed and brought to the front of the battle line in one speech.
Yeah.
Huh.
He
bombastic indeed, and brilliant.
We have a video of Jack and I. We aren't the speakers primarily on the video, but we're hanging out in it, where we turn in our signatures on November 1st, 1985, in the Oregon State Capitol. I was 25 at the time, and we that video's up on the internet if you want to go look at it. I put it up on my Facebook page here a few days ago.
Yeah, I was working with Jack from 1990, 91 to 95. You know, and also I worked with Dennis Crone in that same time period, and they kind of shuffled me back and forth because I was like, I'm good with organizing. You think?
Well, Dennis came down and helped with that initiative in 1985, where we put marijuana legalization on the ballot. That's where I met Dennis in Portland when he came to help with that.
Yeah.
And we helped with the medical in you know, a decade later.
Yeah, because I was there with Jack, and I worked 3 summers with him, 93, 94, and 95 with the Hemp Initiative. And I was the coordinator at the office in Van Nuys, and I make sure they had, you know, supplies sent to Venice and food orders and, you know, field phone calls, and we were doing early data entry and all that stuff. But that was 94 was the year where we were almost close to actually qualifying for the state. And some Black Ops team broke into our office and took all our signatures one night. It was a pro Joe too, and it was a pro job. And then I knew how important the work was, because you don't go around stealing, you know, 400,000 signatures for nothing. Yeah. It's been a long trip, isn't it, brother?
Yes, indeed. It has been, you know. We ended up buying a 4,000-pound safe to store our petitions in.
Yeah. That was, oh my God. I wish we had done that. I wish we had done that. I wish we had done that. Would have changed history. We were 120,000 signatures, 6 more months to go. Yeah. We were going to qualify.
Yeah.
I had my
on your way to qualify.
Yeah, it was going to be we were going to beat out the whole medical thing in San Francisco with the Hemp initiative by a couple of years, and then that's when Dennis recruited me to work full time. After that happened, came up north because they broke into my office that I was managing in the middle of the frickin' night, you know, on my watch. So I left. You know, there was I went to work for Dennis, and you know, it was a very unusual time period. There was a lot of spy versus spy stuff going on, and I keep, you know, Casper keeps teasing me about my agents thing, but you know, it was real, and they tortured me, and I'm strong, and this is very important stuff that we need to preserve. Because it's
because you're so strong, girlfriend, I can tease your happy ass.
That's right, honey. And that's why I love you, because you're my brother. And I am happy. You know, I got my club back. I got some love in my life. Everything's good, you know. And we're, you know, and I'm well. And we're going to beat this fucking pandemic bullshit.
Well,
and, you got 42 minutes.
Crowd. Now, Dakta, why don't you remind people what's going on there with your initiative again while you've got a chance to let the public know what you're fighting for?
Yeah, well, in the last 42 minutes of this broadcast. Yeah. I won't take 42 minutes. This won't take very long. It's been a long session. What's happening in New Zealand? Well, we're still illegal. I'm still facing charges. I'm facing the rest of my life in prison. But we're hopeful that our referendum, here it is, our referendum here, that's coming up at our general election in September. We hope that the referendum will pass. If the referendum passes and our government remains the same government we have now, then I'm quite confident that we will have legal cannabis. It might take another year or two to do it, but I'm confident that it will happen. If the current opposition party become the government after the next election, it's less likely that we will have legal cannabis at least for another 3 years until the following election. It's just the way they argue it, that they've made it political. And even if the referendum passes, if the wrong party is in the government, it may not get passed. So it's precarious times. You know, I've been doing this for more than 20 years, and I don't plan to do it for too much longer. We've got a trial coming up, and I plan to make a great deal of noise. So, you know, for the moment, we're trying to keep our club alive. These are difficult times. If we can get our club alive and we can get people coming back to the club, and we've got to get past this, you know, antisocial stance first. But people coming back to the club where, you know, this is a unique environment that we've created here, in that people who like to have a toke but cannot do it alongside drinkers, they've got nowhere to go. So here we don't allow alcohol or other drugs. It's a cannabis club. People come, they get high, they chill, they relax, and it's brilliant. We've got 1,000 square meters in this building. Just to remind people, we should show you just where our
that's the spirit of Dennis
building is.
right there. That's the spirit of Dennis.
Here's our
Yeah.
building. I'm going to just show you briefly on here. There we go. That's the one.
I'm just thrilled. I got to tell you, you know.
I mean, it's a beautiful building.
Wow.
It was originally built in the early 1900s as a temperance hotel. In other words, a hotel without any bars.
No bars. Temperate.
And it had accommodation. It has since been used as a brothel, and most recently it was a bar. It was part of another building behind this one that was the largest alcohol consumption bar in the country.
Good Lord.
But they split this one off when that didn't work any longer, and we fell across it and thought this is a beautiful place. Because people in the cannabis culture who have grown up and lived through prohibition times don't have any understanding of what it would be like to live like it's legal. And so we've always, since I opened the first club more than 10 years ago in Auckland, we've always lived like it's legal. And when you have that mindset, it actually takes a load off your mind.
Yes.
It's almost as good as being in a legal jurisdiction. Almost as good.
Right, right. You're creating your own reality too. And,
Yeah,
and
we do. We do.
And if you're careful, depends on, you know, how
it's a home away from home. So we hope that, you know, and the plan is we'll get through this lockdown business, that our opportunity to reopen will occur, and that members will come back, and we will build and grow for the future, because we do plan to make it legal. It's long overdue for this country. So that's where we're up to.
Yeah, very good. You've got the people with you.
It's a fight that just has to keep on going, because there's no other alternative.
Yes.
We do have some positives. There is a referendum. And if we don't have the referendum, then perhaps the government will agree to legalize it before the referendum. I'm hopeful. Yeah. We're putting some pressure.
It's so embarrassing for them when they'll lose, because the people are on your side. I look at, you know, what's going on.
And we have a very good government at the moment. I'm confident that we're going through the right things with the COVID, with the virus thing. They've got great support. Our government has great support. They're taking pretty good action. So, and if we can get past this and we can get back to some sense of normalcy, then our club will be reborn. And that's the fervent hope.
Paul, let me ask you, because I'm under the impression that we're not having much of a problem here in Oregon with it. Am I right?
That's correct. Oregon has not reached hospital capacity. You know, we've had some cases. It's a little worse up in Seattle, but we've managed to keep the numbers down overall. You know, some people have died. It's possible that my wife and I had it in mid to late February. We both, just the day after Valentine's Day, had a real high fever, 103.5, 104, and a real bad cough and congestion in our chest. Neither one of us had head congestion. Before I had a sharp, occasional stabbing pain in my gut too. So there was something going on there.
A lot of symptoms that sound similar.
Yeah. But I haven't had any kind of tests. Maybe I had it, maybe I didn't. They say it was going around Oregon in January. So, but we had been on a really packed flight coming back from the Texas Hemp Convention in Dallas. We flew through Houston, and the flight from Houston to Portland was packed. And you know, who knows?
I'm not a doctor, Paul. Paul, I'm not a doctor. I can't give you medical advice, but I am a Dakta, and I can give you cannabis advice. My suggestion is get as high as you can and just forget about it for the next week or two.
My wife continued to vaporize throughout when I get a real bad chest cold, I stop vaporizing and just concentrate on breathing myself. And so I quit vaporizing for 2 days or so and just slept mostly with a fever. But once that fever was over, then I went back to vaporizing.
You're strong. You're very strong. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm glad for that, because it's been wreaking havoc, you know, and
yeah.
It's
well, I'm not sure I had it, but it is possible.
Yeah, I'm in a more populated area, but I'm still where I am is not that bad. You know, we're not that populated here, but in the populated areas, it's scary. It's scary. And so
I don't have to worry about it. I'm too evil to die.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you realize, it just struck me, and I appreciated the opportunity to speak before, but what I haven't actually made a thing about is, do you realize that we've spent 24 hours traveling around the world? And that we might not have had known somebody in each place or each time zone that we stopped in, but we recognized the time zones. And in some cases, we spoke to people in those time zones.
Yeah,
this has been the most exciting thing. I don't know whether anybody has ever done a round the world Zoom meeting before involving hundreds of players and thousands of viewers. It's absolutely amazing. So,
kind of like we did a road trip. Doesn't it feel like we got together all the great activists and we did a road trip?
I've walked around the world. I'm really tired, but it's been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Don't I have a lot of fun ideas?
I have to go, you guys. I got to go close up the pot club.
Oh.
And,
I do.
Au revoir.
So
anybody
you made it somewhere between Samoa and Fiji.
Don't close the pot club. Please
don't close. Keep it open forever.
Any new videos that I make or I help make, I make sure it gets put onto your broadcast so you can get on Tommy Chung's network.
Yes,
and we'll expand our voice continuous there as well.
Yeah, we need more film.
Yes, we do.
It's on its way somehow. I got a funny feeling we'll have more content soon. All right, gentlemen, it's just down to us to carry the torch for the last half hour to the last 4:20 of the day.
Yes.
Yeah, this
you don't want to go around one more time?
Magic. Everybody in this book has been talking to me. It's been amazing. It's the only thing better than reading the book is talking to all the people in
it. Yeah, right? It's pretty cool.
Well, let me show you an Eden Blyton book. No, you're not going to get to talk to Big Ears and Goofy and all of those people.
No, it's been
it has been wonderful to do something that's quite unique, and maybe we can do it again. Maybe we should be doing this again.
Well, there are people who are suggesting it, and that was one of the reasons too. I thought, well, I don't know, maybe I'll bring the Time for Hemp Network back to life. I got a few ideas that might be fun to broadcast, you know, and I got friends from around the world that want to do shows, and we got a movement that has a voice that still wants to be heard, and we got a lot of work ahead of us. We got laws that need to be changed, and we got products that need to be made, and jobs that need to be created.
Did you hear, hey Casper,
so
did you hear
got a lot of work ahead of us.
Did you hear my idea earlier about the 420 Sister City idea?
No, I missed it. What is
it? All right. Well, let me tell you quickly what the idea was. I thought it was a lot of fun. Last night around, well, this morning for me around 4:20 a.m. when I realized that 4:20 a.m. in Virginia lined up exactly with 4:20 p.m. on the other side of the globe over there by Russia. I forget exactly where, but for me, it was just kind of a neat connection. And I thought, how cool would it be if you went to some of the coolest, most major marijuana cities and did the best you could to figure out where 4:20 a.m. lined up on one side and 4:20 p.m. lined up on the other side, and create sister cities on each side of the globe and get them together, get people in those actual areas together on those times. So you get 4:20 a.m. people on one side, 20 p.m. people on time, exactly on both sides of the globe, hanging out in the weed, and they have like a meeting. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that idea I had of bringing Time for Hemp to the streets. Remember, we never really got to do that. But this would be fun because it would be totally virtual, totally doable. And all you'd have to do is just do a little research and get together, the people in those places, a little bit of setup. No, nothing near what we did here. It'd be a fraction of what we did here. I just thought that was a fun connection, the 420.
I'm a great fan of building on one day after the other. We've met a whole bunch of new people in the last 24 hours. Some great ideas have come out of it. And if we don't keep these connections and these conversations going amongst us, then we're failing in ourselves. We've done something that's quite unique. It would be really cool if we could continue talking.
It would
Perhaps
be groovy
include more
if we
people
could
in
do
the
this kind of
conversation.
type of thing on a weekly basis, where we had a weekly broadcast, a weekly news broadcast from around the world, people showing up and talking about the cannabis activities in their neck of the woods. Not talking about politics or the earthquake, or just the referendums, the changes, the new jobs, the new CBDs and the new THCs and the new activists, the new music. Because cannabis hits all genders and all sectors and all parts of life, that you can really do that and have a global broadcast, because it also hits every part of the world. And I know I have a lot of friends who would like to do that as well. It'd be fun. So yeah, it would be groovy if we could make something like that happen. Who knows? Fingers crossed.
Well, the opportunity to have a virtual session with somebody on the opposite side of the world has some attraction, especially when we're not going to be traveling in the next few years anything like the numbers that we have in the recent past. Now, it may come back. It may come back that we're traveling the world again in 5 or 10 years' time, like there's never been a problem. That may happen. I don't know. I doubt it, however.
Well,
I think
one of the things that I would like to do, I hope Martell is listening because he likes to chew on these ideas as well, is Microsoft is making it more and more convenient to have 3D goggles and 3D viewing. And I would like to turn Time for Hemp into one of the first 3D talk shows, where you have people actually coming into a 3D studio and sitting down, and if the audience has those goggles, they can see the whole thing. Like it'd be like a little Johnny Carson sit down. And if you don't, then it's like flat screen like this.
Yeah.
And that way you can get a lot of people on that way, and a lot of talented people to be part of the broadcast. And you can also raise a lot of voices that way. And that's the key, raising the voices.
Yeah, well, I think that we've sparked a lot of thinking. And maybe it is possible if we band together to put a 24/7 network on the internet. That's what it's about. The internet.
Yeah.
How we connect. Look at us. The world's in trouble. We connect as human beings electronically. And this is, in the absence of not having this, this is brilliant. And I'm not sure that anybody wants to fly now or even in the past. It's, let's just stay at home.
I'm hoping to go to Cali, Colombia for the Farallones Copa Farallones in July. If it wasn't for the epidemic or pandemic, I'd be at the May and Hayes event in Puerto Vallarta right now. But
right.
I'm hoping it all comes back in time for some July events. And as we were talking earlier, the Seattle Hemp Fest. But I'm going to continue to travel. I'm not going to let it stop me. As soon as they deem it safe to do so.
Yeah, well, good luck. Until it's deemed safe, the airlines won't fly. You'll pay a fortune because they'll have one person per row. Spread out through the plane. They won't be economical. It's freight planes that are flying at the moment. Look, that's not long term. This pandemic is not going to last forever. There will be a solution to it. We are unique human beings are unique. Somebody will come up with a solution. They're working on it now. We know that. But it's not going to go back to normal in any short space of time. It's just not.
If they come up with the serology test, the question is, if you've had it, do you have immunity? Who knows?
There have been stories coming out of China that people are being reinfected.
Yeah.
But, you know, until there's a formal scientific thing, and that's just stories. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? You know, anybody can say that that person's been infected in the past and they're now reinfected, and oh, what a good story. Clickbait, clickbait. So I don't think it was, I don't know whether it's that. You just don't know. But it's possible, right? They're talking about it. Hello,
thought
Penny.
it
Welcome
was
back.
actually, I thought it was people that you know, got sick, and then you thought the virus was gone. Then everybody starts getting together, and people that were carrying it that had no symptoms passed it on to other people that hadn't got sick yet. I thought that was the reinfection. I didn't think it was actually people getting it again that already had it.
I think you're right, Michael. I think that's the fear. I think that even if you've had it before, they say you have it again, it probably won't be as severe. But who can say?
Yeah, no, it's too soon to tell. Too soon.
Welcome back, Sugar Tits. Nice to see you.
Afternoon.
For those that haven't met Penny, Penny works with us in our club, making things work. She's one of our membership coordinators. But her title there, Sugar Tits Floggers, that's what Penny does. She makes her own hand-woven whips, floggers, handcuffs. You've got a website?
Yep.
Quote your website so that people can come and have a look at your wares.
Sugartitsfloggers.com.
There you go, sugartitsfloggers.com, one word.
That's what it says on my receipt.
There you go. Penny makes beautiful gear, and it's far too cheap. He has to compete with cheap imports. Oh, not anymore. Your price just gone up. There won't be any cheap imports anymore.
Yeah,
It's
really.
to import
No imports. Yeah, no imports.
If I ever visit New Zealand, I'll be considered a cheap import.
Cheap whip.
Yeah. Yep. Cheap. Yeah, you'll get a cheap whip.
Does that mean we're going to have people visiting here, does it?
Well, preferably not. Perhaps I tell you what we could do. We could separate the North and the South Island, and we could send visitors to the South Island and just leave the North Island for us, or the other way around, whichever one. Or we could just say, screw you, piss off all you visitors. We don't need you anymore. You're only going to bring us flu, measles, pox.
Go to Australia and Zoom us.
Yeah, go to Australia. Yeah, maybe.
Terrible.
Anyway, it's
You see the question I put through, Dakta?
What's that?
The question I put through, Ross Bell from the New Zealand Drug Policy Foundation, I guess it is.
Yep.
I'm terrible at titles. Have you ever met, I guess I'm taking it from your reaction, you haven't met him?
His office
Have you guys
is
met
just around the corner from the club.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I've seen him a lot at the
We have a
United
sort of
Nations
weird
meetings. What's that?
We have a sort of a weird relationship. On one hand, Ross wants us to be really radical because it gives him more space to be more radical. But on the other hand,
Yeah, right?
on the other hand, sometimes we go too far in his eyes.
Yep. He doesn't think we should be breaking the law.
No.
And my answer to him is, You know, if people had said that to the gay community in the 1980s in this country when they were debating homosexual law reform, you know, you should shut up. It'll happen. Who do you think you are speaking out? You know, it's the people that are involved in this activity that have to speak out, that are doing it. It's why we do it. We're part of the cannabis culture. We're not rope-ins from outside. We're not corporates that have no soul. We're real flesh and bone human beings, and we suffer as citizens of our respective countries from laws that are oppressive, that are not based on scientific fact. They're based on prejudice and nonsense. And we continue to suffer around the world because of that ignorance. And I have been calling on politicians of all parties, from whichever country. They have a responsibility to know what they are doing as leaders. They have a responsibility to lead and show the public what the truth is. And instead, for years and years and years, the reason the media hate on us and the public are opposed to us is because the politicians, every election, say, we're going to go hard after druggies. We don't like the druggies. We're going to lock them up longer. And who are the druggies? It's always the people that use cannabis, because any other drug doesn't really count. It's the people that use cannabis. We're the bulk. We're the ones that the laws are aimed for. We're the ones that the police use in order to search us, pat us down. I smell cannabis. So it's a very sad situation, but the more we talk about it, the more we talk openly about it, like this on a public forum, we're in business. Oh, here you go. Things are still going on. People are calling me. I didn't even expect that. All right. I got lost in a moment. Here are we? Oh, we're a few minutes after 4 o'clock.
Beautiful, man. It was beautiful. I appreciate it.
And it's the last
4:20, we're going to be in Fiji, which coincidentally is also our time, and it will be the 25th 420 celebration in a row, taking us around the world. And I'm just so happy. I'm so happy that I came up with this silly idea, but more importantly, anybody can come up with a silly idea, but you label test 2. I don't know why you call yourself test 2, but
like test tube or shorter.
Thanks to you and your team and the guests that you've lined up around the world, this has been a marvelous experience. So thank you.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you,
For
man.
people who might be unaware of it, Dakta rang me up and said, you know, these laws in this country are like piss poor. We're trying to change them. Would you help? And I said, oh, hell no. You know, I got better things to do. And he said, well, I'll release those photographs of you if you don't. And I said, you got And then he said, well, I suggest we go across country in New Zealand and celebrate my birthday. And I went, okay, that sounds groovy. And then he said, or maybe just go all the way around the world. I don't know, some kind of like chat, or I don't know, Skype chat, or I don't know. You figure it out. And I went, I don't want to. He said, I've got these photographs. So then I called
Yeah.
And Martell helped me figure it out. And Martell made a lot of this happen. He pulled a lot of the magic out because I really wasn't up for making it happen.
You didn't want to, but you said, I got these photos.
Right. And Martell's really busted his rear end to make sure that, you know, it all happened. We got the guests together, the people on time, got the Zoom lined up. And then all I had to do was just show up and be cranky and silly. And so that made it a blessing, too. So I can certainly tell you I would not have done it had it not been for Martell rolling up his sleeves and making all the other stuff happen. Because I'm just too old. Look, I am just too old for this shit. There's just no other word. There's just no way. I'm just too old for it. Too tuck it out, too worn out. I mean, it all by myself. I used to do all this by myself. You know, get the people together, arrange it, record it, edit it, promote it, upload it, redo it again, week after week after week. And then I woke up one day 30 years older than when I started and went, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? I'm almost dead. So now I need help, and help's coming along the way. Martell's rolling up his sleeves. So anything that happens at Time for Hemp that's good, currently it's because of the assistance I'm receiving from Martell. So I always do give credit where credit's due.
Well, it's one of those things. We had some experience with my friends walking me around the city here, where when I was on lockdown on police bail, on my bail conditions. They would take me for a walk using Wi-Fi and phones and a big screen. And I was able to go out and communicate with people out and about around the waterfront, the lovely different touristy spots around Wellington. And it's good if you can get out and about and you present yourself like we're doing now. Here we are, we're communicating with people. We're not locked in our own little cell called our homes or prison, depending on where you are at any given time.
Well, I know my neighbors talk bad about me because I've got 12 pairs of gray sweatpants. They think I probably wear the same pair of pants every single day of the year and I never change, right? And then I only have a t-shirt, and then I always have a pipe in my hand and the lighter and then the dog. The dog and I are one. So everywhere I'm at, it's like there's that buzzed old dude again, right? So
yeah, yep.
Well, the last 420 of the day, this rocks from the first 420 of the day. It has been a great opportunity to do this. I can certainly tell you. A lot of fun, a lot of music, a lot of entertainment, a lot of, my gosh, Paul, if you get a chance to watch some of this in the past, you'll get a chance to see a lot of informative stuff that Mary Lynn Mathry and Al Byrne recorded for the series, for the broadcast as well. They just did a brilliant job.
Oh, really? All right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they did great. I'd like to make an observation, Casper.
Yeah.
It certainly felt a lot faster to go across the Pacific than I had imagined. I thought it would be a lot slower, and it actually felt a lot slower going across China and Russia. So that's an interesting observation about our little trip around the globe, I thought.
Now, I know Paul's been to China. Did you get high in China?
Yes, I did. And in Japan. I took my own cannabis, though. I didn't try to procure any while I was there. I smoked what I had when I was in China, so I ran out. I got some very poor cannabis a month later in Thailand. But in Japan, during the International Hemp Environmental Forum, everyone was too afraid to take my cannabis. I had, about an ounce left, and people were afraid. I ended up throwing it away at the Osaka airport trash can, so, but people would share it with me, but no one else wanted to hold it in me. They were afraid for good reason, I guess. I was lucky, maybe a little crazy, but the thing is, it's always fun going to these conferences and having the best weed, so that's been something I've been able to do going back to the 80s, go to normal conferences in Washington, D.C. or Los Angeles, and I would always have the best weed. But lately, the past 2 or 3 years, people there have weed that's as good or sometimes better than mine. So that's a good sign, that the rest of the world is getting better.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I did notice that when I was in Indiana, when you pull out a bowl, you pass it. Pull out a bowl, or the joint, you pass it. In Oregon, when you pull out a bowl, everybody pulls out their own bowl. You pull out, everybody's got their own joint. And if you say, hey, I want you to try my herb, they say, well, I want you to try my herb. It's like, my herb is better than your herb. It's like, wow, that's so cool. Right.
It's a proud tradition.
Yeah.
Glad to be part of.
And in Indiana, you're just lucky to get swag that came across the border with seeds and stems that smells like petroleum.
Act like a brick.
Right.
Yep.
The only thing I've never really understood was the kind of cultural, geographical habit of mixing cannabis with tobacco, mostly in Europe. You know, they take
Taking a big hit at something like that.
That's a problem.
But
That's a
people do
problem
that
in
to
our
their
country.
blunt. They call them blunts, and they mix a cigar with good hemp. I think, why are you ruining the good hemp with anything?
Right.
Anything. Period.
Well, there's two reasons for it. And younger people are doing it. If you're 20 years old smoking cannabis in Wellington, you're likely to be smoking it with tobacco. It's unfortunately one of the things that the younger people have been doing. And I'm
picked it up from
totally
those darn
opposed.
Europeans.
Say that again?
I said it. They picked it up from those darn Europeans.
Yeah,
think
I
so.
think so.
Yeah.
But also from Australia. Australians tend to smoke their cannabis with tobacco. When I learned to smoke cannabis when I was 39 years old, I learned in Australia, and I learned to smoke it with tobacco. And I didn't think twice about it. I was a tobacco smoker at that time. But when I moved back home to New Zealand, and I started to mix a bowl with somebody and I was putting tobacco in it, I was roundly abused. And it was explained to me that, no, we don't do that in this country. And so I didn't do it. And I understood fairly shortly on why. And the reason why people put tobacco in there, it's habit. It's the only way. And it gained foothold in Europe when the only cannabis they were getting in Europe in the early days was hashish.
Yeah.
And there were no pipes and other devices to consume it with. So how would you smoke it? You would smoke it like a cigarette. You'd roll it in some paper. But you can't take hashish and just roll it in a piece of paper. You need something to burn it with. And so tobacco was what was readily available because everybody smoked back in those days. And that just became the norm. And then when green bud became available in Europe, it was a later development, then people just didn't know any better and started mixing tobacco with their green bud. And of course, it is a very dangerous thing. When I traveled around New Zealand, the first major tour I did, I found one town that smoked their bud with tobacco. And it was because somebody, a local, had come back from Australia with that habit. Today, I'm shocked and amazed about the number of young people that are smoking it with tobacco. They say it gives them an extra kick. I say that's bullshit. And that if they stopped smoking it with tobacco, they would enjoy it in a better way. Never smoke them together is my point. I used to smoke cigarettes. And you smoke a cigarette differently to how you smoked cannabis. The method of inhaling is different. And you put the two together, and it's much more dangerous because you tend to smoke it more like a joint, which means deeper inhaling of the tobacco. And that's not a good move in anybody's language. But how do you stop it? Other than outlawing it, and that's not going to stop it. You know, they tried outlawing cannabis, and that hasn't stopped it, has it?
It was interesting in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. I just happened to be there. It was one of these strange luck things because I don't go to the Netherlands all that often, but I happened to be there on the very day that they instituted their indoor smoking of cigarettes ban. We got 5 minutes, yeah. So check this out, right? So you could smoke tobacco outside, and you could smoke cannabis inside. But you weren't allowed to take your cannabis outside, and you weren't allowed to take your tobacco inside. So all the store owners were outside smoking their cigarettes, and all the tourists were inside smoking the cannabis. But that was one way to separate the cannabis from the tobacco, was to create an indoor ban for the tobacco and an outdoor ban for the cannabis. Very funny situation.
Okay. Well, here we are.
Fiji,
4:16
huh?
and a half.
Tell us about your time zone.
Oh, our time zone. Now, well, here we
We're
are.
getting back into civilization where you are from where we've been around the Pacific.
We've crossed the Pacific. I don't know much about American Samoa where we were last at, but we've now changed the day. For some time, we've been the 21st. You're still getting over the 20th. But here we are. It's the 21st, and we're about to have 4:20. We have the same time zone as Fiji and Gilbert Islands, Nauru, Kermadec Islands. There's a number of islands around that are in New Zealand's time zone, but we're the big islands. And it's coming up to 4:20, so here we go. 2.5 minutes by the looks. And this sort of completes the circle.
Indeed.
Around the world in 25 hours on the internet is quite amazing. It is a real zoom, zoom, zoom. We've been zooming. Or as a friend said the other day, I'm going to zooey with the girls. And I thought, we're even coming up with new names for zooming now. It's called zooey. I'm going to zooey with my friends.
No, the proper theme song, I think it was Aretha Franklin maybe who did Who's Zooming Who?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have to tell people it's not the virus, it's the pipe.
You're not supposed to inhale. Don't inhale the pipe.
Right.
You just inhale the smoke.
And you're right, Dakta. This has been a lot of fun. And when we came up with the idea, I thought I was going to be like poor Jerry Lewis, where I was going to be up the whole damn time. And we had enough great guests and hosts and enough to keep it all going where I can lay down and get 8 hours of sleep and get back up and pick up where I left off, and it'd just be fabulous.
Beautiful. It has been fun.
And as Mike says, like going around the campfire, making sure the fire don't go out, toss another log in.
Well, here we are. We're coming
Everybody had a Jack Hare story almost, right?
1 minute.
I think for sure.
Even Ben Dronkers had a Jack Hare story. There you go.
1 minute.
A lot of them spontaneous, really. It's hard to tell the story of our life without telling the story of Jack at some point.
Right. All right, we're getting down there. Who's going to do the 10-9?
Fiji.
Here we go. 30 seconds.
1 minute. I hear birds.
I was hoping you could hear the Tui.
Those are native birds.
But I never heard them ringing.
There's someone else. Jeffrey.
Jeffrey's logged in.
Wait. Hey guys.
Hey, Jeffrey.
5,
Smoking,
4,
freedom-loving,
3, 2, 1. Happy 420.
Happy 420.
Happy 420, 420.
5 in a
24.
row. 25 in a row. Absolutely fantastic.
Good job, guys. Really well done.
Absolutely.
I just want to say that everybody here pretty much had a Jack story. I've been posting content about Jack for like 2 months before I even met Casper, before I even knew who he was. And so for me to be able to be in this position, this is my Jack story. Right? Like Jack story. That was the one thing, you know, when you come to somebody after they passed away and you really, really want, the one thing you ever want is to meet that person, right? Like that's one of your goals and you can't do it. So it's never fulfilled, right? But just in 2 months of goals, you can't like it, that happens, you know, and this is my Jack story. This is my magnum opus. It's the closest I'm going to get. And it is a project very, very proud of that is, I think, just a start, but it still stands alone. Like these tapes are never going away. Those views are never going away. And so it's one of those things. It's like breathing. You know, breathing works automatically, and you can control it. It's the only system in the body like that. This is like breathing, right? This is it worked well at the time. It's going to work well moving forward, and it's just good stuff. I'm really happy for Casper. That's my goal for this thing is just to see smile on Casper's face, and You know, when that happens, like it was a win, and that happened like the first 3 hours, and so we were good. So anything past that is like, you know, just bonus. And so, yeah, man, that's it. I just appreciate everybody in the cooperation and all the work that we put in. It's just ridiculous to even think about. Like half the rooms that we had were fucking just crazy. Like, who's in your room right now? It's like, oh yeah. People are gonna think I'm insane if I tell them. So I probably won't even say anything because you can't really. If that didn't happen, okay. So yeah, everybody, just thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, and while we're here, because you can pass the message better than me, make sure everybody at e360tv.com know how grateful I am for their work, their effort, and for helping to make this a success and for getting us onto a platform where we can be heard. And then I send my love to them.
We'll craft them a thank you letter. We'll craft them a thank you letter in print. That's more appropriate.
Well, thank you, Martell.
Hey, thank you. It's such a pleasure to meet you, bro, for sure. You got a beautiful wife and just a beautiful.
Now, Martell, did you put together a concert for the viewers to enjoy after this?
I have not, just because I'm fucking absolutely beat. So I'm literally gonna play a video and let it kind of phase out. And I'm gonna go like completely remove this from my mind and meditate and go to sleep.
Yep.
All right. So then, is this a sign off? Are we saying good night to all of our listeners and viewers?
We're going to do that. And, we can
good night. Thank you.
Say goodbye.
We can let the video run on Penny's birds for a while it runs out of bandwidth.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Dakta. Thank you,
nice
Jeffrey.
to meet you all.
Thank you, Martell. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Sugar
great.
Tits. I always like having Sugar Tits around.
Oh, no.
Thank you, world.
And,
thank you, world. Thank you, Earth. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Father. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
all for tuning in and listening and joining us for all this fun and banter. Please, we're going to be posting a lot of this up on the internet. Share it with people. There's a lot of knowledge in here. And I want to let the Cannabis Movement know I love you. You're my family.
The most amazing 24-hour circuit of the world that I've ever been involved in. Thank you so much. It's time to go. I'm about to collect. It's a wonderful experience. Thank you. Hope to see you all very soon. Thank you.
Bye now. Great to meet you. Great to meet you. Good luck with your referendum.
Michael, you as well, man. Great pleasure.
Oh, man, absolutely.
Love you all.
Good luck to New Zealand. Referendum. It's good to see you, Michael. Nice to meet you, Gary. Great to see you again here, Casper. My best to you, Sugar Tits. Good luck with the floggers. Nice to meet you, Jeffrey.
Absolutely, same.
Restore hemp. That's my slogan. So we'll see you down on the internet. Thank you.
And like I started out the show with my promise, I promise to work to be a cannabis activist until it's legal, or I'm dead, or it's time for hemp all around the world.
Peace, bro.
Yeah, man.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they spend. Take another look and spend some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yes, it's time for him. Whoa, an acre of hemp makes 20 bales of oil. No need for pesticides to poison